Muhammad Yunus, born 28 June 1940, is a Bangladeshi social entrepreneur, philanthropist, and Nobel laureate. He has been serving as the chief advisor to the interim government of Bangladesh since August 8, 2024. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006 for founding Grameen Bank and promoting the concept of microcredit and microfinance. He has been awarded various national and international honors, including the United States Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009 and the Congressional Gold Medal in 2010. He is one of 7 individuals to have received the Nobel Peace Prize, the United States Presidential Medal of Freedom, and the Congressional Gold Medal. In 2012, he became Chancellor of Glasgow Caledonian University in Scotland, a position he held until 2018. He was previously a professor of economics at Chittagong University. He has published several books on his financial work. He is a founding board member of Grameen America in the Grameen Foundation, which supports microfinance. He also served on the board of directors of the United Nations Foundation from 1998 to 2021. In 2022, he partnered with the Global Esports Federation as part of the esports movement to promote the development of electronic sports, esports. The non-cooperation movement on 5 August 2024 resulted in the resignation of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And on 6 August 2024, President Mohammad Shahabuddin dissolved the National Assembly in response to student demands, and President Muhammad Yunus was nominated to serve as the head of the interim government of Bangladesh. His acquittal on appeal the following day on charges of violating the labor code, which were seen as politically motivated, made it easier for him to return home and seek employment. He assumed office as the chief advisor to the interim government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh on August 8, 2024. He also served as an advisor to the Department of Primary and Mass Education, the Ministry of Science and Technology, and the Ministry of Environment and Forests in the 1996 caretaker government. In 2024, he was named one of the 500 most influential Muslims in the world. In 2025, Time magazine included him in its list of the 100 most influential people in the world. Muhammad Yunus was born on 28 June 1940 in a Bengali Muslim family in Bathua village, Shikarpur Union, Hathazari Upazila, Chittagong, Bengal Presidency, British India, now Bangladesh. He was the third of 9 siblings. His father, Haji Dulamia Saudagar, was a jeweler, and his mother, Sufia Khatun. He spent his childhood in the village. In 1944, his family moved to Chittagong City, and he moved from his village school to Lama Bazar Primary School. Around 1949, his mother began to suffer from mental illness. Later, he passed the matriculation examination from Chittagong Collegiate School and ranked 16th out of 39,000 students in East Pakistan. During his school days, he was an active Boy Scout and participated in jamborees in West Pakistan and India in 1952 and in Canada in 1955. Later, when Yunus was studying at Chittagong College, he became active in cultural activities and won awards for drama. In 1957, he joined the economics department of Dhaka University and completed his BA in 1960 and MA in 1961. After graduation, he joined the Bureau of Economics as a research assistant in the economic studies of Nurul Islam and Rahman Saban. Later, he was appointed as a lecturer in economics at Chittagong College in 1961. At the same time, he set up a profitable packaging factory alongside it. In 1965, he received a Fulbright scholarship to study in the United States. In 1971, he earned a PhD in economics from the graduate program in economic development at Vanderbilt University. From 1969 to 1972, Yunus was an assistant professor of economics at Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro. During the Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971, He founded a citizens committee and, along with other Bangladeshis, ran the Bangladesh Information Center to gather support for the Liberation War in the United States. He also published the Bangladesh newsletter from his home in Nashville. After the war, he returned to Bangladesh and was appointed to the government's planning commission under the leadership of Nurul Islam. However, he found the work monotonous and resigned from there and joined the Department of Economics at Chittagong University as an associate professor and served as the head of the department. In 1975, he was promoted to the rank of professor and served in this position until 1989. Yunus began his struggle against poverty during the 1974 famine in Bangladesh. He realized that small amounts of credit could be very effective in improving the quality of life of the poor. At that time, he launched the Rural Economic Project for research purposes. In 1974, Muhammad Yunus established the Tabaga Farm, which the government acquired under the package program. To make the project more effective, Yunus and his associates proposed the Gram Sarkar program, which was introduced by President Ziaur Rahman in the late 1970s. Under this program, the government formed 40,392 village governments in 2003, which functioned as the fourth tier of government. However, on 2 August 2005, the High Court declared the village government illegal and unconstitutional on a petition filed by the Bangladesh Legal Aid and Services Trust, BLAST. Yunus's microfinance concept to support innovators inspired programs such as the Info Lady Social Entrepreneurship Program in various developing countries. In 1976, while meeting poor families in the village of Yobra, near Chittagong University, Yunus discovered that very small loans could make a huge difference for poor people. The women in the village, who made bamboo furniture, had to borrow at high interest rates to buy bamboo and pay the profits to the lenders. Traditional banks were reluctant to lend small loans at reasonable interest rates to the poor because of the high risk of default. But Yunus believed that microfinance could be a viable business model if the poor could keep the profits of their own labor and not pay high interest. Yunus lent 856 taka from his own money to 42 women in the village, who earned 0.5 taka, $0.02 US per loan. Yunus is credited with the idea of microfinance. In December 1976, Yunus obtained a loan from the government-owned Janata Bank to lend to the poor in Yobra. The institution continued to borrow from other banks for its projects. By 1982, it had 28,000 members. On the 1st of October, 1983, the pilot project began operating as a full-fledged bank for poor Bangladeshis and was renamed Grameen Bank, Village Bank. By July 2007, Grameen Bank had issued $6.38 billion to 7.4 million borrowers. The bank ensured repayment of loans using a system called solidarity groups. These small informal groups applied for loans together, and their members acted as co-guarantors for loan repayments and supported each other's efforts in economic self-development. In 1974, a famine struck the country. People were starving and not getting enough food to eat. It was a terrible situation to see all around. The fascinating theories of economics, the experience of which was terrible, were of no use to the hungry people at that moment. So I wanted to see if I could be of any use to some people as an individual, a human being. Muhammad Yunus on the reason for forming Grameen Bank. In the late 1980s, Grameen Bank began working on issues such as renovating disused fish ponds and installing deep tube wells. In 1989, these diverse projects began to grow into separate organizations. The Fisheries Project became Grameen Matsya Foundation, and the Irrigation Project Grameen Krishi Foundation. Over time, the Grameen Bank Initiative grew into a multifaceted group of for-profit and non-profit enterprises, including major projects such as the Grameen Trust and Grameen Fund, which run equity projects such as Grameen Software Limited, Grameen Cybernet Limited, and Grameen Knitwear Limited, as well as Grameen Telecom, which has a stake in Grameen Phone, GP. the largest private phone company in Bangladesh. From March 1997 to 2007, GP's Village Phone project brought cell phone ownership to 260,000 rural poor people in over 50,000 villages. For his work with Grameen, Yunus was named an Ashoka Innovator for Public Global Academy Fellow in 2001. 40. In his book, The Grameen Social Business Model, author Rashidul Bari states that the Rural Social Business Model, GSBM, has evolved from theory to an inspiring practice around the world, adopted by leading universities, e.g. Glasgow, entrepreneurs, e.g. Frank Ribot, and corporations, e.g. Danone. Through Grameen Bank, Rashidul Bari claims that Yunus has shown how the rural social business model can harness the entrepreneurial spirit to empower poor women and lift them out of poverty. Barry suggested drawing a conclusion from Yunus's ideas that the poor are like a bonsai tree, and they can do great things if they are given opportunities in social business that empower them to become self-reliant. Yunus and Grameen Bank were awarded the 2006 Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts in economic and social development. Muhammad Yunus has proven himself to be a leader who has been able to translate vision into practical action for the benefit of millions of people, not only in Bangladesh, but also in many other countries. Providing credit to poor people without financial security seemed an impossible concept. From humble beginnings 3 decades ago, Yunus, mainly through Grameen Bank, has made microfinance an increasingly important tool in the fight against poverty. Norwegian Nobel Committee. Yunus and Grameen Bank were awarded the 2006 Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts, and former U.S. President Bill Clinton strongly supported Yunus's Nobel Prize. He wrote about it in Rolling Stone magazine and in his autobiography, My Life. In a 2002 speech at the University of California, Berkeley, President Clinton described Yunus as a man who should have won the Nobel Prize in economics long ago, and I will keep saying that until they finally give it to him. On the other hand, The Economist clearly stated that, although Yunus is doing excellent work against poverty, it is not appropriate to award him the Peace Prize, stating, "The Nobel Committee could have made a bolder and more difficult decision if they had announced that there would be no laureate this time." In early 2006, Yunus and other members of civil society, such as Rehman Soban, Mohammad Habibur Rahman, Kamal Hossain, Matiur Rahman, Mahfouz Anam, and Debapriya Bhattacharya, participated in a campaign in support of honest and clean candidates. Later that year, he considered entering politics. On 11 February 2007, Yunus wrote an open letter, which was published in the Bangladeshi newspaper Daily Star. He asked citizens for their opinions on his plan to establish a political party, the aim of which was to establish political goodwill, good leadership, and good governance. In the letter, he asked everyone to write briefly about how he would do this and how they could contribute to it. Yunus finally announced that he intended to form a political party called Nagoric Shakti on 18 February 2007. At the time, it was rumored that the army supported him in entering politics. However, on 3 May, Yunus announced his decision to abandon his political plans after meeting with the head of the interim government, Fakhruddin Ahmed. In July 2007, in Johannesburg, South Africa, Nelson Mandela, Graça Machel, and Desmond Tutu formed a group of world leaders. Their aim was to contribute their wisdom, independent leadership, and integrity to solving difficult global problems. Nelson Mandela announced the establishment of this new group, the Elders, in a speech given on the occasion of his 89th birthday. Yunus attended the inauguration of the group and was one of its founding members. In September 2009, he resigned as an elder, citing his busy schedule as preventing him from contributing to the membership. Yunus is a member of the Africa Progress Panel, APP, a group of 10 eminent individuals who campaign at the highest level for equitable and sustainable development in Africa. Each year, the panel publishes a report, the Africa Progress Report, which highlights an issue of immediate importance for the continent and proposes related policies. In July 2009, Yunus became a member of the International Advisory Board of the SNV Netherlands Development Organization to support poverty reduction. This board advises on the development organization's key issues and policy formulation. In July 2009, Yunus became a member of the International Advisory Board of the SNV Netherlands Development Organization. This board supports the organization's work on poverty reduction. Since 2010, Yunus has served as a commissioner of the Broadband Commission for Digital Development. It is a United Nations initiative that seeks to use broadband internet access to accelerate social and economic development. In March 2016, he was appointed by UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon as a member of the High-Level Commission on Health, Employment and Economic Growth. The commission was co-chaired by French President François Hollande and South African President Jacob Zuma. Following the 2016 to 2017 Rohingya genocide, Yunus called on Myanmar to stop the violence against Rohingya Muslims. Mohammed Yunus served as an advisor to the caretaker government formed in 1996 under the leadership of former Chief Justice Mohammed Habibur Rahman. He was in charge of the Ministry of Primary and Mass Education, the Ministry of Science and Technology, and the Ministry of Environment and Forests. Bangladesh was plunged into political deadlock after Sheikh Hasina resigned in the face of mass protests on 5 August 2024. At that time, the anti-discrimination student movement proposed Mohammed Yunus as the head of the interim government of Bangladesh. Later, President Mohammed Shahabuddin agreed to this and decided to appoint him as the chief advisor to the interim government. On the 8th of August 2024, he was formally sworn in as the chief advisor to the interim government.